Hello and welcome to another episode of Experiencing Love. I'm your host, Philip Jocks, and I thank you for being here. I thank you for choosing to spend your time listening to this show, and not for me, but for yourself. I hope that something in today's episode reminds you of something important in your life, maybe someone important in your life. Use this episode as a reminder to return to something, to return to someone that you haven't experienced in a while. And maybe experience some love for them, for yourself, for anything. Until then, enjoy today's episode. How can I experience even more of God's love right now? There are days that I am resistant, that I don't feel like doing something, where sometimes choosing love isn't the easiest option. And from my experience, I've found that those are the best days. Those are the best moments to choose love. Those moments where love doesn't come easy and it doesn't come naturally. Choosing love yields the best results. I've had disagreements with friends, family members, where all I could think about in my head was how much I wish things were different. Either I would say, I wish I wasn't here, or I wish they would think differently. And when I think that way, it's not from love. It's from fear. It's from doubt. It's from overwhelm. It's from anxiety. It's from my head. When I'm able to tap into my heart and look at the situation from my heart, I feel love. I feel love for that person. I feel love for the situation. I feel love for myself. Sometimes it's really easy to forget to love ourselves. It's easy to make sacrifices. Well, is it? Is it easy to make sacrifices? No, it's not. Because with sacrifice comes a feeling of loss. With a feeling of loss comes hurt, comes pain. And we don't want to feel pain. We're wired for the opposite. We're wired to avoid pain. So if we're wired to avoid pain, then of course we try to avoid loss. We try to avoid change. We try to avoid struggle. We try to avoid sacrifice. How can I experience even more of God's love right now? Sometimes all I really want is to rest. I want to take a break. I want to recharge. And many times the desire to rest and recharge is warranted. It's easy to spend day in and day out working out our different muscles. And I don't just mean physically, but muscles like our relationship muscles and our financial muscles and our mindset muscles. But it's no secret that muscles grow in times of rest, in times of sleep, in times of recovery. A battle I often face within my own mind is knowing when I have to rest to rebuild my muscle, and when I have to push through that feeling because I'm using it to avoid something uncomfortable. When I sense something uncomfortable coming my way, I tend to have a pattern of trying to avoid it. I try to avoid it because sometimes it's easier to deal with the struggle that I know than the struggle I don't. But that's not the way of growth. That's not the way of learning. That's not the way of strength or courage or love. In order to give more of myself, in order to give all of myself to a greater good, for the betterment of others, for the betterment of myself, for the betterment of society, for the betterment of humanity, I have to embrace the discomforts coming my way. How can I experience even more of God's love right now? Sometimes, many times, I hear exactly what I'm meant to hear for a given problem, for a given situation, and sometimes, if I'm lucky, I hear myself say what I need to hear. In recording this episode, I've already heard myself say things that I needed to hear for the challenges that I'm currently facing. In order to feel the fear and the anxiety and the doubt that debilitates me and stops me from taking action, I really do have to lose touch with myself and the love that I have within. Earlier today, I forgot that love. It was out of my mind. And it's not like a light switch. It's more of a gradual flow out until at a certain point I notice it's gone. The muscle that I practice, the muscle that I exercise, that I am growing, is to notice when it's flowing out of me sooner and sooner. I have the ability to change how I feel at any given moment. We all do. It's very simple to do so, and I can change how I feel in less than 90 seconds. In reality, I could change how I feel in a heartbeat. But sometimes I give myself 90 seconds to feel what I'm feeling. Rather than run away from feelings, I appreciate them, I acknowledge them. And I also understand that I can't solve a problem that's causing bad feelings if I'm sitting in those bad feelings. In order to solve a problem, I need to take a step back with a different mindset, come at it from love, and find a new solution with a new way of thinking. How can I experience even more of God's love right now? I am loved. I am supported. I am guided. I get sent who I'm meant to meet. I used to say this chant to myself, and I still do occasionally to this day, that grounds me. It grounds me in the present moment and allows me to surrender my expectations. It goes like this. I see what I'm meant to see. I hear what I'm meant to hear. I meet who I'm meant to meet. I experience what I'm meant to experience. Everything happens for a reason. I'm meant to be here. I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm when I'm supposed to be. Everything is as it should be. It's easy to have expectations, and oftentimes expectations can lead to disappointment. It could lead to heartbreak. It could lead to sadness. Because we often set our expectations really high, or at least that's one option. Another option is you've learned that setting your expectations high leads to disappointment, so you set your expectations really low. But that way of thinking has an adverse effect in that when you set your expectations too low, you begin to manifest it and your results are low. It's hard to notice the pattern, but when your expectations are high, you often create high-level results, high-level outcomes. But the moments you don't are strong enough to overpower the good moments. So you lower your expectations. Yes, the low moments hurt less, but you don't create as many of the high moments. Then there's another option, which is living without expectation. Now that's easier said than done, but it's possible. Sometimes it's about noticing an expectation and politely declining it, allowing it to move on, acknowledging it, and then returning to the present moment. The antidote to expectations is presence, being in the moment. Expectations are all about hopes for the future based off of the history of your past. Get rid of the past and the future, and you're left with the present. How can I experience even more of God's love right now? I could be more present. I could be present with myself. I could be present with my family. I could be present with my friends, my loved ones. I could be present in nature. I could be present in my thoughts. Take a moment to be present today. Listen to the words of another, those spoken, those unspoken. Listen to your own thoughts and just see if you could find something to appreciate, find something to be grateful for. Thank you so much for listening up until this point. Today's episode is a little bit of a shorter one, and as you could see, there are times that it's a little bit more of a brain dump. I don't want to use the excuse that I need to create a perfect structure to these episodes stop me from actually recording. Sometimes it's in these sporadic brain dumps that the best insights that I can give come out. And so because of that, I recorded. And I also didn't really cut out much of the blurry parts. I hope that as you listen today, there was at least some part that stood out to you, that struck you as interesting or relevant. And I hope you think on that. I hope it positively impacts your life, at least for a couple minutes, if not for a couple days, maybe a couple years. Whatever it may be, I hope you take it and use it to experience a little bit more love than you did before. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I hope to see you in the next one. I love you.